All right, so every so often we have to go back to do the things we have to do in order to keep our bikes maintained. So today we're going to be talking about chain maintenance, and I know I'm going to put actually a link at the top in here somewhere just to let you know that I indeed did a video on chain maintenance last year, but I wanted to introduce something that I've done in the past for a long time. Actually, I want to say that back in 2014 or something like that, I learned for the first time to kind of clean with kerosene, the type of kerosene you can get from a hardware place. Nothing wrong with finding and using any actual type of solvent that is going to help you to clean. To keep your chain clean, or some of the areas where actually a lot of like dirt and debris can mix up with like the chain, the oil and stuff from the elements, and make some sort of like mixture that it's like super tough for any degreaser to actually remove. So this is when kerosene is actually very useful, and it's actually safe for the O-rings on your chain on your motorcycle, which is why I wanted to show it today. I'm going to be using it on my GSX-S1000 on the chain, and I'm also going to be using it on my VFR800 today, so you can see how I can get the swing arm clean, which has a very porous surface, and nothing else takes that thing out unless I use kerosene. Believe me, this is my fourth VFR800, and simple green will damage and like stain the actual metal because of the material, and some of the solvents are actually way too strong for that type of material, but the actual kerosene works like a charm. So just walk with me, and maybe this is something that's going to be useful in the future for you to break that dirt or debris, whatever, from your bike without a lot of effort. Let's go. All right, so let's start by bringing these bikes up. I don't know how, but this thing is so heavy and always gets me. Oh, that was easy. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. You see all that dirt in here. You're probably thinking, oh my God, Richard, don't be such a baby. Like, you can get that with any degreaser. And yes, you can. But the one thing you have to think about is how much effort you're spending. You're spending on scrubbing and getting all that out. And I used some solvents in the past, and some of them kind of helped and remove some of the dirt from this surface, which you can tell very porous. And then you have all that mess in there, which of course when it gets mixed up with the grease from the chain or oil from the chain, then it just becomes very difficult to remove. And if you use a water-based type of like degreaser, it's just not gonna work well. So, and then kerosene is pretty cheap and actually pretty effective, and it's not going to be damaging any of it. So I can at the same time just kind of use it as an opportunity to clean the chain. So I think it's a win-win, which is why I want to share that with you today. It's easier. I'm just gonna remove this super quick. All right, so this is gonna provide a better view of the current condition. You don't have to go all that extreme and remove passenger pegs and whatnot, but I wanted to clean that up as well, which is why I did it. But this is a good before we get into the next stage. All right, so I'm going to slide a piece of cardboard under. Various brushes that I'm going to be using, my trusty bike chain brush, and then I have another one. I might be starting with a little bit of a scraping action in here because this is caked on. Look at that. Now I'm just gonna start soaking this. So I put the kerosene in here, and I'm just gonna start. Ooh, I think there was a little bit of maybe soap from what I had before, which is not what I wanted, but I think it's just gonna dissolve pretty quickly. Okay, so look at this. This is just a toothbrush, like not a whole lot of power in here. You know what? Something I just realized? that I want to remove the wheel. So let's just go ahead and do that. But before I do that, take a look at this. Do you think you can clean better or easier than this with soap or anything like that? I really doubt it. All right, so now with the wheel out, I have better clearance and actually, able to go from the back and, clean all this area. But hopefully you saw that this stubborn dirt that was in here, look how easy it comes off. I'm actually gonna bring you here and take a look at this. It's all coming out so quickly with almost no effort. So that's why I wanted to share this with you. Well, let's just keep going. So take a look at this. See, I mean, this is just a single pass on a chain that I maybe cleaned a little bit like 5 months ago because I haven't, ride or ridden this bike so much. But when I did it, I did not do a, decent amount of like cleaning in terms of, it was not too deep, my cleaning. It was just a matter of like getting a little bit of, the stuff with WD-40 a couple months ago before putting some brand new oil because I was gonna do a 600 type of like trip going to Sedona last summer. So anyway, you can see that with not a whole lot of effort, I was actually able to get a lot of crud off this chain. So now I'm just gonna take the excess of everything that I just cleaned with this rag, and you can probably see the difference. We're not done, but if you remember, it was looking pretty bad. So now let me go ahead and take a quick look at this from the back, and we will spend some time cleaning this area too. All right, are you ready? Tell me it's gonna be easier with anything else. I dare you. Nah, it doesn't matter. All right, so before I put the wheel back, I'm just gonna clean this wheel because it's filthy. And what better chance to clean it up when it's out. So this is perfect. So I'm just gonna let it soak on the legs, in here, center. All right, so with the wheel now clean, I'm just gonna install it back super quick, and that way I can just go ahead and start removing all the excess of the any excess left, I guess, on the bike from the kerosene that we used before. All right, so something that I like to do is to get the bike in a place where I'm not gonna be staining or making in a surface greasy by having the excess of the kerosene get going on the floor or the ground. So which is why I'm here in the rocks, and I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure that I soak this area with soap so that soap can break the greasiness that can leave behind the kerosene. And I'm just gonna use a brush to agitate like any areas, and this is pretty much done. All right, so this is the final product. I mean, of course, I have a few things to install yet, and there's some like water spots and whatnot that I have to clean. But besides that, you know, chain's looking clean. I just need to lube it right now. This is super clean, as you know, if you compare it to before, but the actual sprocket is just messed up. Like I tried and tried, but that's not just something that, you know, the solvent was not able to do. It's more the fact that this sprocket's been here for a while and nobody has taken care of it. There's a quick look of how these things look in the back. There's a little bit of like water still that's just gonna be sipping. But overall, I mean, super good. I mean, if you compare to, you know, the way it was before, and everything is clean. All right, cool. So let's just reassemble everything right now and let's get through it so we can see the final product. All right, so with now everything installed, let's just lube the chain. I'm just gonna pick this spot in here because I don't want to get all this oily, and I don't want oil kind of running down in here. So I'm just gonna be using a small piece of paper or rag so I can take, you know, care of the excess and I don't have a lot of like oil going into the exhaust. I have like the first one right there. I can see it because although this chain is not gold, this spray kind of dries a little bit like yellowish, so I can spot. Okay, and I always like to also add a little bit of, I mean, underneath it. Not underneath it, I'm sorry. I'm actually gonna do it a little bit on this side, which is what I wanted to do first, but I like to kind of soak the in between the plates as well, so it looks nice. So I'm just gonna do this. So this gets in the rollers, in the middle of the rollers in there. So that should be pretty good. I don't want to get all this dirty, but it doesn't seem like it's getting through, so that's fine. Good amount of spray. I mean, without excess, of course, it's better than having to, you know, replace a chain because it doesn't have enough lubricant. So, and I'm not, you know, I'm just kind of giving emphasis on the outside and a little bit on the inside in here. I'm not gonna be riding the bike right now, so I'm just gonna let it sit. So this now is not taken away from the look of the bike, and I think it looks better. I feel better because I have a chain that's good now. So only thing I have left is just to work in the bolts. So I told you that I was gonna take a look at the GSX-S1000 as well, just to kind of show you how to clean the chain. Remember, I put a video already about the chain, so this is not going to be a complete how-to, but this is just to show you that the same way you can clean up with WD-40 or whatnot, you can actually remove like the excess gunk and junk that's going to be in your chain with the same method that we used on the other bike. The other thing is, I'm just gonna do it in here. This bike doesn't have so much, let me move this a little bit out of the way. This one doesn't have so much junk in the chain because this is the bike that I like to keep pretty clean. Especially, I mean, the other one, it's a bike that I purchased with 50,000 miles. So, I don't know how people treated it before I did. So essentially, like this one, I mean, right here, I know I've been, keeping up with the maintenance on the chain. So I know, it's in a good place. So I'm just gonna be using this to remove a lot of the gunk and junk, and this is good not only because this doesn't seem like a lot. That gunk it gets all like greasy and kind of sticky. And what it's gonna be doing is kind of continue kind of allowing for more dirt and stuff just to get stick to the chain. And by doing this, I'm just having this opportunity to clean it up, make sure that all this dirt is not gonna get into in the middle of the plate, you know, or rollers for that matter. And by doing this, I'm reducing the, you know, the opportunity of that degrading, and then this is a perfect chain that is gonna allow me to lubricate it without being dirty. So let's wrap this one up too. I not only like to clean the top part, but I also like to clean both sides of, you know, the plate. Because the fact that you can see on the inside doesn't mean that you don't have to clean it. I know it sounds elementary, but you know, sometimes we make dumb decisions like that. Okay. So now let's go and in here, just gonna continue cleaning on the outside. I think I probably mentioned it in the video I did for when I was cleaning this chain last time. But I like to run my chain fairly loose. So if you're wondering, I mean, it's not horribly loose, but you know, looser than probably what the book manual calls for. And in case you're wondering why, chain becomes part of your suspension in the rear, meaning when the swing arm is doing this, if you have a chain that doesn't allow for any movement, you're adding a lot of pressure, you know, pulling everything, including, you know, transmission, sprockets and stuff. So because of that, I run it fairly loose. And like I mentioned last time, super important to also clean the sprocket. So I'm just taking this sprocket right here and removing all the gunk, because you don't want to let that go back into the links. Let me put a little bit more. And of course, I'm only doing the outside. I will do the inside in a second. We're not going for a contest here. Nothing wrong with that one. Now I'm cleaning the inside of the sprocket. There was, it talks about new chains that are being manufactured, I think by BMW, where they were talking about maintenance-free chains. Don't quote me on this, but I don't know if they were calling for those chains to be like 40,000 miles or maybe even 100, and then having the ability or the ability to, you know, be running for like multiple hundreds or at least thousands of miles with no actual without any actual maintenance, not need for you know, lubrication. And don't quote me again, but I want to say that they were also talking about no maintenance in terms of like lubrication and stuff, or even stretching, minimal stretch or whatever. So it turned out to be not true. And Ari Henning from he used to, I mean, he works with Restila right now, but he used to be working with, you know, motorcyclists before. He did some testing, and it ended up to be not true. And the people who were testing those chains, I mean, not really were working the way the manufacturer was expecting. So anyway, all right, cool. So we're done. This is easy. Very happy. Have a clean chain. Please, I'm not telling you necessarily how to lubricate your chain. Make your own decisions. See what works and what's best for you. If you have a complaint about how I'm doing it, I've been doing this for 10 years. Might not be the perfect way to do it, but it's been helpful for me. Keeping it out of the tire, because I don't want the tire to get anything. I mean, you see probably some chain which I'm gonna clean in a second, but it's actually from my hands. So maybe I can grab the tire different place. So I'm not adding any. Okay, so this is the first one. The color on the spray really helps to keep track of, you know. And then similar to the other one, I'm gonna do the same. Minimal, not a whole lot. My focus is on the outside right now because I already kind of spray the inside, but all right, that's it. Both bikes are good, good to go in the sense of like having clean chains and I mean, of course, using kerosene. Hopefully, if this kerosene was not something that you knew, now you know you can use it. It's actually pretty good. Of course, for the purpose of the video, you know, it takes a second to do multiple things, but this doesn't have to be that complicated. You don't have to take the tire off. Certain things that you have to do and certain things that you can avoid, but I did it for the purpose of the video, so it's clear. But very powerful way to clean. Just make sure that if you are cleaning with something like that, this is flammable, so you have to keep that in mind. So, which is why after you don't have to, you're not gonna be using it for everything, but maybe just some like crud on the engine, or maybe crud like you saw on the swing arm when you have a material that is very hard to clean. But otherwise, you can use anything, you know, any other cleaner. The cleaners you're using, they're probably good, but there are some cases where this is the best thing you can do to minimize the effort in order to get the crud or the dirt out. So that was the purpose of this video. This is not sponsored, but this is what I used. It cost me like 10 bucks on Walmart, maybe 11 bucks or something like that. So this is kerosene, the one you use for lamps, and yeah, I mean, just put it without diluting the liquid or anything. You're just gonna put it in a sprayer, and that's all you need. Just be careful with your eyes. Protect the area where you're working on, and make sure that maybe you take a rag, just remove the excess, and then you just need to use a water base or any other degreaser that will remove that greasiness from the area you were cleaning. And that's why, if you don't need to use it and anything else can be the perfect solution for you because your bike is not that dirty like my casing here, then that's perfect. But if you get to a bike where maybe you're buying a new bike and it's been through multiple hands and the people before were not giving, a lot of like love, or maybe you get a lot of like rain and maybe there's like rain mixed up with like oil and grease and stuff, and it's very hard to remove, then this is probably the best solution for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you have any, if you're enjoying this content, and leave me a comment, leave me a like. It really helps a lot, and thank you a lot. And share this video with other people that you might feel, it's gonna be beneficial to them. So have an amazing day. Bye-bye.